Hello and welcome, and it is Crypto Day, the 12th of May, 2018. I'd like to welcome you to my channel and this video, everything within your own risk, own reward for any investment choices that you decide to make. I've already went over Bitcoin using running averages via the 4-minute morning video this morning that lasted 5 minutes, but you know what? That's just like saying that Thursday night football on the NFL network or on ABC or whatever network, which is shown on Saturday nights. So I look at it the same way. It's just really a name title more than anything, with the idea of trying to make it a little bit of a shorter video, because videos like this just happen to go longer and longer and longer. So be it. All right then. Daily time frame. See, I could say in here that this red candle down move is a statement that it needs to go lower. Revert the trend? Maybe. However, when you have a situation of going from point low to point high, and you do so very, very well, which was the example here, you're always going to have this empty space from where you came from. So that's why, like I've stated before, I'm going to be using the 3-day time frame. This is a very good one to use, because since the decline and during the whole run up, this 18 average was tremendous support. Yeah, it pierced below it on occasion, but it recaptured it relatively quickly on every occasion. So since the decline, the 18 average rolled over, had a decent leg down to 6. And then within the months of February into March, it resisted that area. The 18 average decline started to flatten, but that's the best it could do. It grinded its way lower, just telling us that the bear market is in place. However, the grinding stopped relatively quick. In fact, above this level of support. It got up to this area for another correctionary move. It did so on the 4/10th time frame period. But instead of rolling over after getting to the 18 average of highs, it left that area on April the 19th. And it has then spent 6 days supporting the 18 average of highs. That's been enough to revert this trend, make it start to rise. And here we have that support level test. See, this is very clear as I look at it at this stage. For if this area fails, if this move is a failure, I've seen that pattern many, many times before as it gets above the 18 in that manner, and I see weakness at the 74, 75. I'm going to be basically counting on that, of course, 3,000 number. But it's trying to revert the trend, and any price action that comes down to here, that's where I see correctionary moves. But it's a red candle, though. It's pretty big. Anytime you see a move like, say, I'm just trying to find a pretty good example. See this green candle? Stop shaking. See this green candle here? When it was at 6,000, it was a pretty darn near a decent red candle. But it transformed, when it was all said and done, into a very nice green candle. So we'll let the time play through. And again, yeah, just getting above here is what I'm looking for. Let's take a look at ADA, because it's pretty much the same to a degree. And that, since the decline, there's a band flattening out stages, start of April. It got above it on the April 10th timestamp, and then spent the next 2/3, 3/4 of a dozen periods above the 18 highs. So it's now gotten back down to the 18 lows. Let's transition this out to the daily. It's doing the exact same thing that I talk about with Bitcoin or any chart that has a good point low, point high spot, and it finally breaks below it. I'm going to be looking for, is this able to make higher lows, Fibonacci retracements, that kind of stuff, and blindly looking at it, sure, and go down to 260. But within these markets, I've talked about for the last many, many months, over a year now, about buying low and selling high strategies to do it. I've given a handful of different ones that have been available. So therefore, if you enjoyed the selling at, say, 3,700 and selling at like 4,000 and 3,900, well, now you can enjoy buying back at 31. I've been enjoying the last day or two buying back XBY extra bytes. I'm not going to show it on this video. I did videos on it recently. But buying it back at prices much cheaper than where you were selling them off last. So that's really the name of the game. If price action comes down to 23.32, you make new legs. The way I look at it is, it's a buy spot. They're going to go up, they're going to go down. And when you look at it from a whole perspective, if you've been playing this since it came out, since day one, you bought up here at, say, 1,000, and then you bought at, say, 790, then you bought at 681, then you're buying all of these levels. It happens. Maybe you get a little small sell opportunity here at 448 or whatever. If you did, you could buy back at 350. But this is sell order going crazy in here when stuff like this happens. And you don't have to follow any type of news groups, any forums, know anything about fundamentals. Know about how markets move, but don't have to care about it. It's just a code as far as I'm concerned. Now, of course, I'm not denying the knowledge of fundamentals by no means. I'm just talking about a strategy of playing the mathematics, understanding market situations, being ready to sell via having sell orders in, via being alert to the market and not missing out on a few days, all that kind of stuff. And when situations arise, you take advantage of it. I really want to take a look at this on a shorter term time frame, and I will. I'm just going to fast forward this, so I'm going to do that now. And I want to look at this on a shorter term time frame because this is going to be fun. Can I do so on the hourly? I should be able to. Okay, just whatever. Yep, so you're playing this from the start. You know what? I never plan on doing a long video on one code, just going over so many different periods. So here's a situation. You're playing this on the hourly time frame. So you can sell up here, buy back. So sell at about 500, buy back at the 450s. And then this thing breaks down on Halloween at 477 going down to 255. How many buy orders did you hit? That's the question in this case. That's buy city within this strategy. Markets go sideways. Maybe you got some sales at the upper end of this resistance. If you did, where say you did sell at about 328, you were able to buy back. And then the percentage gains in this case, I'm looking at the hourly. This is still selling at like 327 and buying back at 300, 10%. But then all of this happens. Sell order city, huge. Goes down, sideways. Some buying opportunities more than anything during this. Small bit of selling. But if you can start selling at 371, put another seller on 393, put another one at 413, buy some at 372, buy some at 348, and then do nothing for a long period of time until here. And by understanding market psychology, you know when you're looking at this in U.S. Thanksgiving time or late November, that market dynamics are changing. It's very short day tradable, basically. But you sell some at 370, you sell some at 400 or whatever. And then you wait. Maybe you didn't buy back here because you wanted a lower price. And because you didn't buy back here, you didn't sell again at 400. But now it goes up. Sell 450, sell 510, sell 583. I would definitely be buying under 500 if I sold here at those levels that I just mentioned, which meant I could sell here, buy back the 18 lows, and then a whole bunch of sell orders arise. And if you're selling all the way up to 1600 in here, prices pulled back to 800. So everything that was sold north of 1300 easily to be bought back with this higher volatility. I'm just going to look at more, just be a little easier this way. So now from December 4th through December 7th, though we know a time's coming soon, but this was buy mainly. A little bit of selling in here, and then the buybacks. A lot of selling here. How fun is that? And all of the selling that occurs. So within the intrasession of all of this going on, this meant that selling at this upper end of 1364 on December the 14th meant you were able to get buybacks, which meant a little bit of extra profit along the way. The pullback on December the 17th to this 18 average meant everything that was sold at around 2800 was bought back at 24. And then tremendous choppy action. It could have been tradable. It cannot have been tradable. Meaning, if you're able to see it and profit from it, that was great. If you were just doing nothing because you were waiting for a move, then that's great too. Just let that move happen, and there's that move. Oh, so now it's the start of the new year. Happy New Year. More selling. And then a bit of buying down in here. Definitely want to sell a bit up here at like 6,500 after buying at like 5,000. And then a little bit of choppy action. And you can see you're not going to trade much, or at least for that much in volume compared to before, if any at all. But there's all the buying in here. Sell back instantly. Buy that back instantly. Sell some. And then all you're doing here from February 9th, after you had a few sell orders hit, is buy. And you've been doing a lot of buying from February 9th to February 20th. And you had a little bit of selling you could do on February 25th, but then buy thereafter. Maybe a few sell orders here from March 9th through March 14th, but since then, buy from March 14th down to March 18th. But here you are buying as it breaks below at 22, then buying again at 20, then buying at 18, then buying at 17. Oh, now selling at 20, now selling at 22, now selling at 23, now buying back at 21, now buying back at 20, now selling at the 22, now selling at the 23, now buying back at 21. And you can see how that game works out. April, all of these sales in here. Sell order city from April 7th through April 20th. A little bit of buybacks, but again, we're seeing more selling. And from May the 3rd to where we stand now, buy order city. I've been going back and forth saying the same things over and over, but when you get into the habit of doing this, then these moves that take place, you can look at as opportunities, because there's one thing that's tremendous with every single problem that somebody has, whether it's your problem or somebody else's. It's an opportunity for somebody. Your own problem could be an opportunity for you. It can be an opportunity for somebody else. And when somebody capitalizes on the opportunity of your problem, that's either good or bad for you. It's either good because they're helping you out. It's either bad because they're taking advantage from what they've seen from that situation. But anyway, I think that's a pretty... I didn't plan on saying all this type of stuff. It's amazing. You come out, you plan on doing a video. Your whole purpose was to go over Bitcoin. How it's just a continuation within this. And then you just happen to click on ADA, and then you're just going over all of this. Very, very interesting. With that being said, pattern recognition. This thing is gearing up, if you will. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so from the decline, 2 a.m. on May the 11th, it goes down to this level in here. Rallies up to the 18 and just chops around for a while. It has this fast move at 1 a.m. this morning, coming back down. But it only comes back to where it came from. Is this washout type of action? After all, it's already had a double bottom. It's broken the double bottom neckline, and it has now come back to that neckline. That's where it stands. Because from this low, it doesn't resist the 18 average of highs. No, it doesn't do that. And it doesn't even resist and have a big sell-off at the previous high. It has a small sell-off, and then this nice last green candle that took place at 8 a.m. this morning has broken that neckline for the double bottom. The double bottom started on the breakdown, so that's basically two U's or two V's. So the U in here and the U in here. The red line has came back down to the neckline. So let's take a look at this on a 15-minute time frame. So there's the first little one. There's the second one. And because I know action is gearing up, so it's either broken the neckline, came back down this area. It could even find some support at around 3,000, technically at a bullish level, and then lift higher from there. And then now we get into uptrends and some sell opportunities. But if all that energy was used to, and I talked about this recently with Bitcoin, how you barely break a level, and then you come back to its level of where it came from, previous resistance. And if that level fails, that's a deadly failed move, fast move. I've seen so much in traditional markets. Didn't see it so much into 2017. I'm seeing it a lot more this year in the crypto markets in 2018. Maybe that's an indication of who the newer, bigger players are in the game. I'm not going to go there. But, yeah, it's definitely something to keep your eye on. Short term. If this thing does, well, right now, if it doesn't go any lower and we see it just going sideways or rallying from here, getting above 3,200, 3,182-ish even, then I'm going to be very optimistic that would break this level of resistance and probably come in and test the 3,400 area. You see weakness in here. I'd be looking for a leg lower to about the 3,000. I'd have no idea what it's going to do at that point there. If you see any type of leg lower or any type of continuation weakness, like we're seeing now, I guess you could say, for a significant period of time, that is. So if if the price action's unable to, say, get above, say, 3130-ish or so by dinner time, 6 p.m. Eastern, or over the next 8 hours, that would be very concerning, and I'd be looking for that move again to go lower from there. Okay. How much time have I been doing? Not quite 20 minutes. I'm not done yet then. I don't know what I want to talk about now. I mean, I'm going to look, and I'm just now sorting some of my codes. You can't see me doing that. THC's up 9%. What's the story there? STRAT's up 6%. So let's just go to THC. Interesting 15-minute time frame. Interesting 60-minute time frame, to say the least. Because here's that situation where you go down. If you were buying at 1,040, you can start selling a little bit here. I'm going to be selling it if it goes to 1,200, 1,195, but anyway, I see that the down move has a very good up move, and it's consolidating it. So a statement in that it's going to want to revert this trend. It's been going down since this duration of time. I like to say it has to hold 1,073, and I think a price correction going down there is fine. When you have a decent sized move like that, I kind of like to even see it hold around 1,100. But If it corrects down, that's all fine and dandy. That's normal situation. But after the one red candle down, it has followed through with that green candle up. And as the first thing I seen on the 15-minute time frame, this thing looks raring to go. I'd actually expect it to continue its up move from here. But if this move ends up failing, and you see later on signs of such, that's not a good sign for, or you'd be looking for more downward action and probably a test of, okay, this is another thing I want to go over too. Does something pass an eyeball test? I've talked about that before. This is where 978 fails the eyeball test. If this move on the 400-minute time frame fails, because it's up to the 18 average, a level of hot resistance. It could be anyway. It doesn't always have to be the case. And bullishly and bearishly, the price action coming back down to like this level I talk about, like 1100, is fine. I've already went over that part as it is. But if the situation were to occur where price action comes back down in here, and we're talking about making a newer low, does 978 pass the eyeball test for where that leg lower would go to? The answer is no. It fails it. Price action on the last low pierced above, for the second time actually in a row, the 978 number. If it comes down there, I would expect it to have a decent size move from this low. I'd be looking at the eyeball test, to me, says about 881. So if anything, Fibonacci later on might settle in there and grind around that point. But if this level of support gets taken out, I'd be expecting a much, much lower price. A lot of these codes are in that of that decision day moment collectively. And like I've stated with Bitcoin, if the price does the upward decision, gets above 11, 12, and I expect greater prices and multiple X gains thereafter, then I think a lot of the altcoins are going to handle themselves very well. And then the opposite is true. So that will be a very interesting situation as it moves on. So here's the correction for STRAT. As its April lows, it goes from the 48 handle to the 86 handle, pulling back to the 66. Okay. That's where it has pulled so far. 18 average has started to decline. It's its first resistance area test. And this is, again, very, very short-term information to a degree, but it's always going to chop up and down. So even if something looks like, oh, it's up so much, you know it's going to go down. And even if it takes a while, but just think of it this way. And this is another point I want to talk about as well, is lost sales. It's amazing. I just look at something and I get an idea in my head, and things I've always wanted to talk about too. So I talk about buy low, sell high. So you sell up here, you buy back. You sell up here, you buy back in here. And now we're selling in here. And you sell, you sell, you sell. Well, as it plays out, everything you sold at, like, say 2,633, you've never been able to buy back. At least not as of yet. You still might be able to, but you haven't been able to yet. You know what? That's just the name of the game. PivX, big example of that. Dash last year had huge, enormous runs where if you sold at prices that were high, they got even much higher than that. If you set yourself in a position so you can get monstrous gains, so that if you sell out, you're going to sell out at, like, well, my last position size will be for a 75x gain, stuff like that, then you're fine. If you always sell a percentage of what you have, you can never technically ever sell out. And the buybacks, of course, are going to come. But sometimes you're just going to sell at a number. It does really well for you. But think of your portfolio and the situation if you had the opportunity. You sold some at 24. You sold some at 35, 37, all the way up to all these highs. Your portfolio is doing magnificent. Now, it's going to take a hit on the way down for what you have, but when you sold here at 397 and it's back here at 200, all the buyback opportunities. You can see you can sell on the way up, buy here, sell here, buy down here, and we've been in the sell mode now since April 10th through May the 6th. Are we going to go back into further buy mode? See, I don't really care about technicals for what it does. I'm just going to be ready for what it does. If price action goes lower, I'll be buying. And I'll be buying back what I sold, say, on April 18th and stuff like that. If the price action goes higher, well, all the stuff that you were buying on the way below here, you can sell for. If you sold at, say, 836, that's like filling your buy order that you had, say, at 650 back in March. And your buy order that you had of, say you bought 781 on February 20th. You're still holding that. Okay, so be it. Yet, if price action comes up to, say, 107, I'm selling. And that's what I'm doing, is just waiting for the situation. Okay, I'm just going to take a look at the biggest loser, REP. Auger. That was just an amazing move that it had. Core is another one of the big losers, but just chopping up and down, and that's basically what I'm looking for. That's why I like to play Core. Plus, there was a movie called Core where they went to the center of the earth. It didn't get great reviews, and I thought it was pretty good though. But that should mean no reason for why you like a particular code, because the name sounds like something else. Remember, a code called Uno was available, and as a 8-year-old, I remember playing a card game called Uno. So it had an attraction to me because of the name, but it was a pointless attraction at that sense. Meaningless. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.